All right, all right, all right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Talking That Talk official podcast where we have comfortable and uncomfortable conversations. I'm your host, Juice, aka No Ordinary Brother.
What's good, everybody? I go by the name of King Exodus. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tapping in. Make sure you engage in the conversation. Most importantly, hit the YouTube channel. Follow the YouTube.
All right, man. We got a couple of live at five things we want to discuss today. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in broad daylight during a speaking engagement. Unfortunate events just happened, and one of the things I'm noticing is like the type of conversations that are happening after his death. Some people are celebrating it. Some people are looking at it like, hey, things happen when you say certain things and they come back around to you. For me, when it comes to Charlie Kirk, it was I like a lot of good. He has a lot of good talking points that I do agree with. On my end, there are some things I definitely don't disagree with when he in some conversations. But I noticed like how the internet is celebrating another man's death. Like I said, for different opinions. And I think it's gonna get to that point where like I think like just talking here will get you killed. You know what I'm saying? On a content basis, you are now having content creators looking at his incident on a basis of like, yo, look, behind closed doors, you are more free to speak about certain situations than you are to be in public because anything can happen in public. We've seen a couple times content creators are now openly talking with people in public, thinking they can just have a mere discussions. They get attacked, they get jumped, they get fight, they get stabbed. So now it's starting to get to a point where, like, I'm looking at it, if your influence is high, you're now going to have situations if people don't agree with you or agree with you, they'll come after you like it's nothing, like it's nothing. So I'm gonna say it because I don't care what people say. Rest in peace to that man. Like I said, he had a lot of talking points that I did agree with. He had some things I didn't agree with. But overall, at the age of 31, his influence and what he has done, I'm, it is what it is. I think he was very impactful. So, hey, that's my spin on that.
Uh, yeah. Rest in peace. Um, the only thing that caught me by surprise is that I'm like, okay, cool. Like people may not be paying attention to this because it's happening to Republicans. It's happening to Donald Trump and people that associate with him. But I'm like, we really haven't seen assassinations and assassination attempts in politics probably since the '60s, give or take. Um, as far as here, homeland, like in America. So that's the first thing that I thought about during the whole thing. But I'm not too familiar with a lot of the comments that the guy said. Um, but still, to say, I'm glad that happened to somebody. I still don't know if I would say that in particular. But for the people who push that narrative, I'm glad that happened to him and he deserved that. Uh, and that for the people that's black, I mean, like it's a piss poor disposition because it's like y'all better not be religious. Y'all better not eat certain foods. Y'all better not celebrate Columbus Day holiday. Like we can go down the list if you you know what I'm saying. But I'm just if y'all want to be quote unquote pro black and offending black people and people that offend black people and whether they live or die, you know what I'm saying? Just do that shit 100% full time. Don't pick and choose. So I ain't gonna get too hot on that. Yeah.
So most people know him for debate culture. Jubilee, he's on there a couple times debating college kids, and people like, why is a grown man debating college kids? I was like, listen, bro. One thing he felt in his heart was like, listen, let's make sure the youth is educated on politics and things they're going to be proceeding forward with. It's better to have these discussions now to know the mindset of our youth and where they're at currently to know what's their projectile in the future. I said, I ain't gonna lie, I thought that was pretty smart. I was like, hey, it's good to know like how people are voting based on how they think, how they perceive things. Like I said, he done more things outside of that. But like I said, I think the dude has some great views on some things, and some things like I'll say I disagree with. It doesn't matter if I'm black, white, Hispanic, bro. At the end of the day, there's still things even people I might not like. I still agree with on certain things with them. Next topic I want to move forward is Canada. Canada has a new law for sex for rent. Sex for rent, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, it's
But
going to be an agreement where women are now basically. Well, I need to stop saying basically. Look, they want to stay somewhere for free in exchange for sex. That's it. And it's hit in Canada, and I said, wow, it's only a matter of time before this starts spreading out to different countries, different states, different whatever. I said I can actually see it happening, right? A couple months back, I talked about this app called Fly Me Out, where literally like there's women that just want to be flown out to locations, and you select and pick them. I was like, it's no more exclusivity of let me take my boy, take my girlfriend out, let me take my wife out. What should I want to take my boyfriend out? I want to take my husband. It's just like, look, at your fingertip, you can fly anybody you want out. And there's agreements within that. That's why they say, listen, when you get flown out, don't act dumb like you don't know what to expect. Now, you have a situation where you have contractual agreement with sex within rent or a household. It's funny because I forgot who I was talking to. They was looking at me like, look, now imagine if married men got to put this contract with the women they marry. I say, damn, that's gonna be crazy because you're going to be eliminating traditional things, the things that they held within relationships when it came to providership as well. I had a friend of mine. He says the fun. He said, "Look, imagine when the lease agreement is done with the sex agreement, you can now just do another lease with a different woman. So now you can just always have contractual agreements for sex. Now I don't want to be too long winded on this, but reason why I needed to bring this to the forefront is because we already know people have already been doing sex for a place to live all the time. Some of y'all call them Homo sapiens, and some of them. And a smart woman once said, "quote unquote," yeah, but that's the same things that married women do. I was like, yeah, bro, y'all dismiss what marriage is. But hey, taking a step back, what do you think about the subject? What do you think about that subject, man?
damn, I was gonna say the same thing with the marriage. That was gonna be my thing. It sounds like marriage, um, but only in a way that most women follow hypergamy, which is the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you say, okay, a lot of women are against going 50-50, it's the same thing. Like, it's just what they're doing in Canada with it is just more upfront and direct
Yeah.
to the flex part. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing as dating and marriage and everything else. It's just, I think as more time goes by, we're just gonna uncover new layers of relationships. It probably will never get to like open polygamy being a thing here because everything is about a dollar. You know, literally what you just described was marriage, but when marriage goes left, attorneys get paid, courts get paid, uh, the state benefits. So it's all about controlling people's relationships, controlling sex first and foremost, and then also benefiting in ways legally, where it puts most likely the man in a disposition. But y'all out there that's gonna say there's some women that lose in divorce court. Okay, it happens sometimes. But we know
Mhm.
what's up. So yeah. Shouts out to Canada. Which is getting straight to the meat and potatoes. Yo, we got it here. It's called OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? We have it here on so many levels. And then I think in China, if I'm not mistaken, like that's not even a thing over there. Like that's banned over there because they like, no, that's not what we want exposed to the culture here. So yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. For a lot of women that don't want to do nothing anyway but bring sex to the table and focus on hypergamy, you might want to pack your shit up and head to a different country pretty soon. Where you can really do that.
Or like man, women said, listen, I don't want to pay no bills in the house. Cool, just give up the
Sign this paper. Yeah, sign this
sign
paper.
this paper. Hey, look, sign this paper. Hey, look, I
When I
got you.
get here,
Good.
when I get here, I need you on your knees. You never hit your feet. Stay on your knees. You need to move around the
In
house.
this
You gotta
contract, it
learn how
says,
to
listen,
roll.
about 4 times a week. And
Yeah.
hey,
Don't walk
look, I ain't
around the
gonna
house.
lie,
Slither
man. Listen,
and
you
roll
save me
around
some
on
money.
your
I'm
back.
gonna ask if you can add more people to the contract. Oh, your whole girl need to stay here? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly.
I got plenty pen, ink. I got
Yeah,
contracts for
exactly. I
days.
got plenty.
I got contracts for days. I'm
All
a
right,
business.
man. That's the end of
Yeah,
that subject, man. Anything else live and fun you want to discuss?
yeah. I got to do this one. Brittany Renner, PJ. It went viral. You know. So we ain't podcasted in like a week or two. So we gonna catch up on a lot of current events just to throw
Yeah,
our
man.
little
We
opinions on there.
yeah.
But Brittany Renner had an altercation with PJ Washington, NBA star, who's they have a child together, and so he goes to pick up the child. The child's crying. And she's like, I'm gonna start recording this. This is ridiculous that the baby's crying. It's the third time he's left with you and he's still crying. And I'm like, look, do people not really understand that like children and like let's if you have a pet dog, when you leave the house, you come back 5 minutes, dog running around in circles, happy to see you and shit like that. Like their perception isn't of a human fully functional. It's like, okay, you're gonna leave and you're gonna come back. So the anticipation, the excitement is there. Kevin Samuels used to always say, men want their women to be like a puppy in the house. Every time I hit the door, tail wag and run around in circles. You accept the excitement, the thrill. I'm home. So same thing with kids. Kids, especially 1 year old, 2 year old, all that they don't have a full concept that okay, I live here, I live with mom. She's the main support that I have. I sleep with her. She feeds me. She do all these things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really know I'm coming back in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending the night and I'm coming back. So it's normal for kids to cry. A lot of times, dads will pick their kids up, and the kids will put on the whole charade, cry, and fall out. By the time they get in the car and put the car in reverse or hit the block, the kid don't even cry no more most of the times.
Right. And that's literally
So
what happened. That literally what happened.
So just to exaggerate that, I say, yo, that's crazy. Like women really take that shit to another level. But then the main caveat to it is like you only got $11,000 in this bank account. Only $11,000. Most of the grown adults I know don't have $11,000 in the bank account, just sitting after bills is paid and everything else. So I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Like we're creating a culture like you just opened up with the sex thing, but outside of that, where fathers eventually that I mean, we already our value is lowering by the day, and second, and hours, but it's gonna become a point to where like fathers just ain't shit because nothing a man can do seems to be sufficient enough as a father. $11,000 for a 1 year old or a 2 year old seems to be like a very great accomplishment, but somehow it's not nothing. So by pattern behavior, whether rich, poor fathers, who it don't matter. Whether he work a 9 to 5, he's a millionaire, whatever. By the time these kids become like 5, 6 years old and they can talk and they start thinking just a little bit, like it's already like, my dad ain't shit. No matter what. By the time this kid probably get 5 years old, he probably had 20, 30 racks in his bank account. And I can guarantee you, he probably might be like, man, I don't think my dad really rocked with me. So it's a crazy culture that we're creating. Um, like I said, you open up with the whole sex thing, but it's a crazy world right now for fathers. And it's not just black fathers no more. White fathers are experiencing this. It was this one white father who went viral because his wife, they had a divorce because she wanted to push the fact that her son could be a girl, like, the whole gender thing. And he said, fuck that. They got divorced. Um, she relocated, I think, to California, and he went viral because he was facing like imprisonment because he was like, I'm not paying child support if that's how she's going to raise my son. So we're in a very creative space right now when it comes to parenting, especially being a father right now. So you got it.
Nah, man. I ain't got much to say. One thing I also will piggyback off of, PJ Washington said to the mother, he's like, hey, suck my dick. And she said, I would if you had one. I was like, bro, that's not even the type of comeback you should have. And one thing about Brittany Renner, as some of y'all don't know, and some of y'all do know, she also been talking about how her mom traumatized her. So the fact that your mom traumatized you, she's back there adding fuel to this whole conversation. I'm like, I mean, we can see where some of that stuff actually can build up off of. right? I think a lot of people don't dismiss that. And the funniest thing she did not too long ago was not too long ago she was on the podcast. She mentioned that she thinks women who are side chicks are scum of the earth. That basically they leave things bad for other women. But yeah, this was the same woman that was quote unquote married to a man that was still legally married, and his wife just legally filed for divorce. And I was just like, yo, that really happened. But hey, who's to say like, hey, I don't even know what to say right now, man. It's just the hypocrisy these days. I don't think people understand that what goes on. But some people look at being legally married versus what's the word, self governance of marriage, two completely different things. I mean, hey, whatever. Some people really need to learn how to shut up. I'm gonna just say that right now. It's funny. I went down the timeline when I first followed Brittany Rayner, like back in 2016, 2015. Like I said, I thought she was. Like I said, she's an attractive woman. I was looking into her that, but like just watching her progress to now, I'm just like, man, this is crazy. This is when they say sometimes pretty women do the most evilest things or be the most manipulative people. Manipulating people. All right, man. Well, that's all I am, man. We're going to get the subject going, man. Let's go ahead and go.
One more thing, man.
Let me go ahead, man. We get
Let's
fired.
talk, let's talk about these teachers, man. How you feel about these sexy teachers going viral?
Oh, man,
Um,
the sexy teachers,
how you feel
that's
about
just crazy. Man, listen, I'm be honest with y'all. That's a little bit crazy. We always make comment about like, listen, I wish our teachers dressed like this back in the day. Cool, but at the same time, y'all should really look at how these women are marketing themselves. Some of the women have said, "I'm looking to be the main character while I'm at this job." Some women know that young kids are gonna be lusting at them, but they like the attention anyway. See, it doesn't even matter how old or how young it is anymore. Attention is attention now, and we don't listen. Some people actually believe that some of these teachers are doing ways to, as they say, PDF file men, young kids. They said if you pay attention to the way they dress and they're doing certain things, this is how grooming and sensation can happen within a child within the school. So I'm like, I didn't ever look at it like that. But when they break it down and most of how certain people start doing certain things, when a woman knows when she got you under her web, right? I remember one time I was visiting a teacher before, and I guess this is her favorite student. It just happened to be a young black man. And she always used to say, man, that little boy do anything for me. I said, I don't know if that's a good thing and he's in this type of position, but she uses it to her advantage. Hey, can you go get me a soda from that, down the hall? Here's my money. You can, like I said, there's certain things you can do. Like people are always trying to gain favor. Uh, young men always try to gain favor of women. Oh, and inside school, outside of school, that's really a big thing. So what I'm saying is like the appeal of it all at the same time it can become mesmerizing. So do I believe like some of these women chase the two sexes? Absolutely. These women are going viral. They're getting picked up by celebrities now for how they're dressing at these elementaries and high school, elementary, middle school, and high schools. I'm like, so now we know you want to market yourself like this. This is now for the attention of social media. Nah, that's all I got. What about you?
man, how the boy Gay say, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, how some of them teachers dressing. Blessings in abundance. Yeah. But serious note. Um,
My boy said it's fine. It's inappropriate. Like I said, bro.
yes,
X
it's
love that
wrong.
shit.
It's
I ain't gonna lie,
inappropriate.
y'all. X love that, bro.
Yeah.
X want to go
Yeah.
back to school right now.
PTA meetings, it's gonna go through men, it's like gonna be like be hands on, like yo, you know what I'm saying? Like I just really want the best for my kid. You
I really want the best for my kid.
know?
Now he really active in that kid's life.
Yeah, that's gonna change. It's gonna be great for fathers. Fathers deserve motivation to be in their kids, school
You
life
know
and
what?
education.
You know
We
what?
have to
Let me
do
say
what
this
we
real
have to
quick.
do to make sure these children are paying attention in class, and if sometimes you gotta, now I'm just fucking around. But for some of the women who some of them take it too far. Some of them take it too far. If you just naturally got a shape, your clothes fit your shape, all right. But
Cool.
if we can tell when clothes fit the shape and when you're trying to show the shape. And one chick, she got a whole like social media persona where she called herself like Teacher Bay,
Yeah, teacher,
and
but
I'm just like, what the? Now that's extreme. That is
I
very
told
fucking.
y'all that it's marketing. You
That,
see the pop of that booty? Did you see her pop of that?
look, he excited now. Look at you know what I'm saying? I'm
Hey,
gonna just sex can be a beautiful thing. I'm talking about the energy, but sometimes you just gotta know when you're taking it too far. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, just doing it at the school. Me and Juice, we was talking one day, and we was like, man, look how some women dress at church. It's like
whoo,
the respect boundaries on sexual energy now, specifically when it comes to how women like what they show. It's crazy. And I always say we want to live in this world where women actually want to pretend like they believe in monogamy. The way you dress shows if you believe in monogamy. Because back in the day, if you showed too much, you were being disrespectful to somebody else's relationship, somebody else's household. So as a community of
whoo.
women, we want men, one woman, one household. So it
There you
was
go.
like a respect thing that, you didn't do too much. Now it's just like, hey, I'm finna show this shit, no matter where I'm at. So, if you at a pool, you know what I'm saying, and you got a shape and you're a mother, okay, you might be
Cool.
able to hide a little bit, but if you actually get in the water and you got on a swimsuit, okay, you got a body. But that's not how you dress all the time. And it's just levels to everything. It's levels to everything. Even if you got a body, you at a pool party with your kids. 'Cause I see this a lot too, especially summertime in Houston. But like if you got it like that, they got slips. Put on the slip. You ain't gotta be doing your kid like that at the pool, which is ass all out, having everybody looking,
Man,
trying to
that's
talk to
funny.
you.
Man, I'm gonna answer two things that X
Uh-huh.
said, right?
hmm
Uh,
hmm
two things real quick. Yeah, I remember what happened in Players Club with Diamond's little niece came
Walking
around
around,
walking
yeah.
around that house like that. She's like, "You don't think you should put
She
on some
got way
clothes?"
more than food.
That boy
She got
said,
way more
"She
than
ain't
food. That's what
nobody.
it is.
She knew what she was doing."
Yeah.
See, that was a respect thing to always cover yourself in somebody's house.
hmm
Like as men, we know, like, listen, we're at somebody's house and there's women around, keep a shirt on. You
Keep your
know what
shirt
to
on.
wear, what you should be wearing. Like
Yeah.
let's keep it real, let's keep it funky.
hmm
But now
hmm
we got to a day like, oh no, you can do whatever. You should exercise self control. Come on. I was like, all right, cool. The second thing he said, he was like, women be dressing certain ways at church. I told Ace one time I left church, I said, man,
Yes, Lord.
I don't know why I ever left. I was like, I don't know why I ever left. Yo, and then I thought about the moment in Boys in the Hood. It was like, you know where the hoes at? He's like, where? Church. And I was like, dog, that is so funny because I never, like, when he first said it in that movie, I was like, bro, he tripping. But if you see how they are in today's times and how they dress at the church I attend, you gonna be like, man, oh, this is at church. Like, I don't know
hmm
why you going out there. Just go to church. But see, now you're going for a different reason at the same time. So it's kind of funny because some people are getting blessed at the church and some people gonna get blessed after the church. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say right there. I ain't gonna say too much, but
Yes,
yes,
Lord.
yes, Lord, yes, Lord. That just church is crazy these days, man. I remember somebody was sitting up, standing in front of me. Clapping with the choir. I, Something was clapping in front of me. It wasn't the hands, though. I was like, yo, what's going on? And I'm
hmm
sitting there trying to look the other way, like, yo, this is literally. In fact, the funniest thing, I looked to the left, and the guy looked at me and said, he just gave me the nod, like he knew what was going on. He just, like, I'm sorry, like, listen, I'm doing something that I shouldn't do. The ratio of men to women at a church, hey man, you gonna win all the time. Man, you need to start going to church. Start going to church.
Hey, hey,
You
hey,
better
yeah,
start going to church again, man. Like,
that was a good
no,
live
let me stop.
response.
Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me get back on subject.
That,
Let me get
that
back
was a
on
good
subject.
live response, man. That was a good live response.
It,
I,
it's like, listen, I came there for the Lord, but the Lord brought other things with him.
yeah, yeah,
Many things.
yeah.
Many things.
Baptism.
You know what I'm
So,
saying?
uh, main topic for tonight. So, we got the whole snitch allegations with
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug, and it's not just to harp on that for too long, but it had me thinking. Wheels started turning, and I'm like, yo, the shit that black people focus on, or just people in general, just decide to outlaw and go against is crazy. It's like, so it's like the shit that we pick to allow is crazy. I was watching a Malcolm X documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X, and literally, a average Joe guy saved up his bread, um, produced this film, and actually solved the case. Had access to police officers during that time period, interviewed them, interviewed people that was there, uh, accessed police files, FBI files, everything, and named everything. And what caught me the most was um, everybody in Newark, New Jersey, knew this story for over 50 years. Like everybody knew the dude with the shotgun's name. Everybody did. And he managed to live a normal life. Uh, Became a productive citizen in the community. But everybody knew the story of the guy with the shotgun. And I'm like, this is interesting because in snitch culture, it's kill the snitch. Fuck the snitch. We gonna whoop his ass and no, you know what I'm saying? Young Thug is like we no, we don't stand for that. But when murders happen in the community, especially when prolific people get killed in the community, no one has that same energy. It's like, well, I didn't know him. Yeah, but he affected you. Yeah, but that's not my beef. It's like we pick and choose what we associate with and what we don't want to attach that type of aggression to. So I was just like, yo, this shit is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like what criminals do when they, you know what I'm saying, trying to get out of a tight squeeze shouldn't have much more impact versus people actually taking people out the community that we give a fuck about and care about. And it's crazy because I got on a shirt right now. Malcolm X shirt. Crazy, right?
Great.
Didn't plan on it. But
Right there.
it's just crazy that, and the guy that supposedly with the shotgun, did his thing, they attended a school in Newark, New Jersey. Now the high school is actually named Malcolm X High, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just crazy how all these things happen, the shit that we allow and don't allow. So we're just gonna open up the conversation. We're not, like I said, we're not focusing too much on the Young Thug situation. My quick little spin on that though is like, dude snitched. You know what I'm saying? His whole thing when he came out was like anti-snitch because somebody he felt snitched on him, but they just took a plea deal, and then more and more things get released of him actually negotiating. But yeah, I just feel like as a community, as grown, especially as grown men, we have to draw a line in the sand on what we stand for and don't stand for, as far as what's going to be met with aggression. You know what I'm saying? And stop letting the streets and other people decide. It's no way this guy should have these allegations and stories on. He was the guy that killed Malcolm X. Lived a full life. Nobody touched him. Nobody whooped him up. Nobody washed him up. Nothing. They know the mosques these people came from and everything, and everybody just turned a blind eye. So we'll let the conversation develop. I'll let you do your thing.
Oh man, I always said like, they said all killing is wrong, but I always said like, well, if you do a righteous act, but in the return it's wrong, is anything right? So one of the situations like that situation, I'm like, bro, the man lived a normal life and everybody knew who killed him. This is one of your most profound leaders in the community, activist, person who was doing everything he can to get things in the directions that to waking up the black men and women within the country. Let's also remember, like, he also started uniting people later on down the line once he took that step away from the Nation of Islam. So you have a person that's going out there doing the necessary things to get things to awaken, uh, awaken all the individuals around the United States. So it's kind of weird when we talk about the snitching thing, right? Um, Snitching is snitching. They like say no matter what it is, it's still wrong. I'm like, bro, I that's so weird to me. If somebody kills somebody that you love, would you want somebody to tell you what happened, or would you want them to keep quiet? You have some idiots that be like, man, hey, it is what it is. I'm like, come on, bro. I think y'all try to stick to codes that y'all don't even live by. y'all never been a part of. Y'all just want to embrace something that was told to you, but you was really never active within that lifestyle. Right? We always talk about morals, codes, ethics, principles, the game. Some of y'all are playing into things you're not even a part of. I never understood it. I remember one of my homeboys. He went to jail. He took a case for somebody else, and the funny part about it was they both was in the same car. It was his homeboys, and instead of the homeboy saying, "Hey, this is my stuff," um, nobody said anything. So they took them both to jail. They're like, "All right, bro, if nobody confessed, then hey, listen, y'all both about to serve some time." So it was a good amount of work in there. I'll say that. And the whole time, like I asked him one time, I said, "Fam, you're not even a part of this. Like you're not even part of this type of lifestyle. Why didn't you say anything?" Like, listen, man, I got to ride for the homie. I'm like, you're not even part of this. You don't even know what the fuck is going on. Like, what are you doing? It was so, I guess, encoded in him to live, to ride it out. It didn't make sense to me. Cause like, you're not from this. What is the purpose? Like, what are you trying to prove? You're gonna come out of jail. People gonna be like, oh man, you were solid. You didn't snitch. You didn't tell me, bro. You're sitting there as an innocent person. At that point, fam, I'm like, bro, you need to tell the truth, dog. Like, fuck him. I'm sorry, bro, but fuck him. I'm like, I don't know him, but this is stupid. But like I said, you have people who embrace certain things that never been a part of it, and it's retarded. I'm sorry, it's just retarded to me. Right? One of the biggest things Big X is gonna talk about is the situation with Takashi 6ix9ine. A lot of people are like, yo, he snitched. I said, fam, they extorted that dude since the beginning. Did he try to hop down and get the exposure by hanging with the gang? Of course. But they've been plotting on that man since the beginning. So once you realize you've been plotted on, you awaken to it, do you still go along with it? Or do you be like, oh man, fuck this shit, bro? Like, I'm not gonna go down for some stuff that I didn't do, that I didn't know nothing about. But here in this world, we just, like I said, we want to ride for stuff that it doesn't make sense. Like I said, to myself and some other people, like, bro, he was a civilian. Did he talk about doing stuff that he never did? Yes, we understand it, but bro, we know he's not about that. We had what's that now? Baby Jesus. I don't know if y'all remember him from he made that drill time song. White boy talk about drilling and everything. He came out, he said, nah man, I never drilled before, man. I'm just around the music and culture, so I thought I'd push that out. After he said that, the whole hip hop industry stopped fucking with him. But he made the music that was hitting, just like Tekashi 6ix9ine. But I'm gonna let X go ahead and take over on that, man. So, in your eyes, man, was Tekashi snitching, or he was a civilian that got exposed? I thought that was getting exploited.
He was a civilian that got exploited. Look, we talking about a situation where a civilian affiliated himself, with a gang, with a set, and yeah, they put him on, but they also, but I mean, they were saying like, they hit his chick. They like it was crazy. The stories that was
Stole
coming out.
money
So
from him, like, bro. They did things he didn't know about. Rob, I remember they were doing
yeah,
their own
robbery.
thing and putting it on him.
Right. So at some point, man, like the streets has a lot of feminine energy that nobody talks about because we just don't want to say it. But the streets is full of a lot of feminine energy. I could do anything I want to, but that's gangster. But when something happens to me as retaliation, then that's not right. That's the same shit we argue about when we talk about women and accountability being kryptonite. It's the same thing in the streets. A nigga goes and robs somebody. They come back, kill the person that robbed them. There's no get back for that. He threw the first punch. So now you're gonna go and kill somebody for getting a lick back. And now it's gonna be a war and it's fucked up. No, it's not fuck them. It's fuck your brother. It's fuck your friend that decided to throw the first punch at somebody. There's no war and get back and get it. No, they started it. This is where grown men have to insert themselves into these narratives and stop upholding the bullshit. Everybody gets held accountable. We even had the mentality, what I'm saying, in certain environments we come from where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna ride with my dog, right or wrong, but When we get back, I'm no, 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 no. I'm gonna address it then. No, 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 no. You address it at that moment because you getting ready to put your life and your freedom on the line for somebody that you know is wrong. But just because y'all took an oath together, you know what I'm saying? Y'all from the same hood, same set, same color. It don't mean that your freedom is disposable because somebody else wants to be a fucking crash dummy.
Crash out.
But we celebrate the crash dummy shit. You know what I'm saying? It's so many stories where homies like, yeah, I ain't even know why, you know what I'm saying? I knew such and such was fucking with a underage girl but yeah, they pulled up deep. So yeah, we still held the homie down. The fuck you did what?
Fuck. Bro, I start remembering a story now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, no, that's not acceptable. No, you don't ride for nobody no matter what. We've made a mockery out of oaths and loyalty in the streets, but it's all feminine shit. The most masculine, I promise you, from the hardest nigga in the streets, whatever, the most masculine you will become is when you separate yourself from the streets. Then you'll start seeing how feminine it really is.
Mm.
It's a bunch of feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? So let's do the I hit the 6 9 point, the gunner point. You pretty much hit it. Look, there's like QP said something that was powerful. Another part of keeping it G in street codes, if we get caught with something, okay, maybe up front nobody confessed to it. That's cool. But if I know that's my shit, and I know that's not your shit, I'm supposed to be a man and say that's my shit. I'm supposed to take my own lick, not see how real you is and see. No, 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 no. That's not your shit. Now, if that's both our shit, no, okay, cool. We can we can play a little game and see who tell and who go thug it out, whatever. But if I know that's not your shit, I'm not even supposed to let it go that far.
Not at all, fam.
It's not you not even supposed to get touched. Your handcuffs don't touch you. No, hey, that's all me right there. But it's other rules, into shit. Like I say, when both people are involved, it's rules like, hey fam, like bet drugs in the car. Cool. Whoever doesn't have a drug charge, you take that charge. Whoever don't have, gun, same thing. Whoever don't have
Mm-hmm.
a gun charge, you take that charge because, you will
Right.
get out faster than the other person. But
Yeah.
that's if y'all both are involved.
Yeah.
Fam, take your own lick. It's simple. It's so fucking simple. You do the crime, do the time. Simple.
Simple.
You know what I'm saying? Easy peasy. Um, I kind of got to get back on this Malcolm X thing, and this is kind of like
That's cool.
one of the guys who got caught. Well, the only guy who got caught for authentically, he was the guy that got shot, and they scooped him right up off the scene. He released a statement, an affidavit in like 1990 something, and he's the one that actually said, "Look, those other two guys that got arrested ain't had shit to do with this." He screamed it from the trial and everything. Nobody else paid attention to him, whatever. But in the 90s, he actually quote unquote snitched. But he said, yo, those two guys were innocent. These were the other four people from my Muslim mosque that actually did the shit. That's how we did it. That's what we used. That's how we set it up. That's how we got in. That's not snitching. I mean, you can say by definition it is, but he's trying to save two innocent
Innocent.
people
Yeah.
that he
Innocent.
know didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just feel like men have to take the street backs. Remove the street nigga, insert masculine men. It solves everything. They're having the debate right now for fun. 100 unks versus 100 YNs, no weapons. Who wins? The unks win all day. The YNs can't fight. We were just talking about this before the episode. We like, fam, we grew up like fight, especially in Texas, like
We
Houston
fight.
specifically. But we grew up fighting. There was no get the gun and no. The most you had was a knife. That was it. That's it. You fought. So now the mentality is, well, I'm a drill. But it's like, well, that's the easiest way to deal with anything. It don't take much to shoot a gun. But now we celebrate who got the most hats. Not who knocked out the most people. Not who, got down and did some man shit, but who got the most hats. Like, So you just have to be careful, especially as a man, what you celebrate. We opened up with women wearing dresses and dressing too sexy, and every man will agree, oh yeah, yeah. But when it comes to the men, do you have the same energy on you not doing the feminine shit?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to go back to that mindset. I seen what's the guy, Andrew Tate.
Mm.
Uh, I think he was just having like a normal day with some friends, and they was all outside in boxing gloves, and everybody had to go around to the body. Gladiator school. Like we have to start back taking masculine approaches towards our families, our children, especially the young boys and everything else, so that these type of things won't continue to happen. I'll let you leave, man.
Man, sure, man. I really ain't got much to say. One of the things I remember, this is another code that I grew up on. Like, hey, listen, you bring bullshit this way, we're gonna ride with you, but you're gonna handle that on your own. We're gonna make sure nothing else happens.
Yeah,
I don't see that no more.
right.
I don't see that no more. I remember when the homie brought some shit to us. It was like six of us. He like, man, this is what went down, this and that. We like, hey, listen, we down, but fam, you might as well tell us the truth. What really happened? He
Mm-hmm.
told us, hey, hey, listen, I started some shit. I said I'll be back with the homies. He was like, hold on, fam. So you got us involved with some shit you started. All right, cool. We gonna go out there, but you gonna handle your one with whoever you started that shit with.
Mm-hmm.
So after he had that one on one, the craziest thing about it, he felt like we didn't have his back. He forget we didn't let anything else happen to him. We were outnumbered.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, hey, go ahead and get your get down. That's it. But
Mm-hmm.
you have feminine men also that look at it like that, like, nah, you supposed to ride no matter what. Like, hey, listen, we're not about to put ourselves in a situation where blood can be shed and unnecessary conflicts can happen. Because people forget, it don't just stop at just one situation scenario. Sometimes them things carry over. Next thing you know, somebody around you getting targeted, somebody getting manipulated. We'll find out. Listen, bro, it got so deep back then, bro. We'll look for people at your own at other schools. We know you got family members, right? One of the dumbest things, the easiest things was like Facebook used to tell you like who your family members. Y'all would really list them. Now you just really made your people a target in case they really went left. So those are one of the situations I remember very well growing up. Also, like I said, we grew up fighting. Fighting was really big to us growing up. Like, I got jumped. I got to tell you how many times I got jumped growing up. But hey, listen, I did my thing anytime it was one-on-one basis. But this is another thing about that. We grew up fighting so much as you talk about the YNs. I forgot, like, at one point in time until a gun got pulled out, I was like, oh, we're using guns now? I was like, I thought we still just fight. Listen, I think maybe 15, 14, when guns start getting into the situation, I was still just locked in on just hands, just fighting. Like, no, what old dude said up from Friday? Put the gun down. You live to fight another day. Sure, I think a lot of people really stuck to that code. But now when things got involved, then you was forced to evolve from what's going on. That's another thing. You was forced to evolve. Because once you get yourself in situations, you're gonna have to stand on the back as best as necessary. Um, that's just like one of the main things I just remember about growing up within our culture and stuff. There was always three things. Well, I want to say four, but three things. That was a code around me and the people I were around. Right? We was like, listen, in this group, you're gonna be known for at least one of these things or a couple of these things. You either gonna have hands, you're gonna know how to hustle, or you're gonna be a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, if you want to put a being a player on the side, cool. But we didn't care. The three main things was: can you get money? Do you at least have hands when situation go down? If you don't know how to fight and get money, can you at least shoot, bro? Like that was just some things that we grew up on. So you was lucky to have at least some people that was able to do two. Now you had the rare ones that could do all three, but most I would say at least majority at least had one.
Mm-hmm.
You had the top notch, and then two you had the day ones, them solid ones. Whatever they gotta go down, we just gotta go down with it. So that was always rare itself because within that situation, you eliminate other people from being involved because you already know who to call in situations that's getting into it. If you're gonna fight, you don't have to bring a shooter with you because what they're gonna do. So you already know how to handle those situations best. Hey, listen, we need to get some money. We down like, hey, bro, so and so, can put something. This is how it was linked within our network. We knew how to get around because we knew everybody's specific skill and how they maneuver. Yeah, like I
Mhm.
said, when it's time to go out, we know who can get the hose, we know who can do all that. But bro, majority of the time, we need to make sure you got some hands, you can get some money, and if it came down to it, cool. But majority of the time, hands and money was one of the main things I was taught. You gotta have those two.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And one thing I say that if you really want to pay attention to how feminine the streets become, yo, it's just a lot of people that's just going renegade. Whenever people use that word, it kind of lets you know that what they saying is they don't want structure.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to be able to roam freely, do whatever they want to do, and not answer. Like our generation, generations, what I'm saying, before us, when you got involved with street activity, you were submitting to a power structure, fully
100%,
submitted.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, well, I want to be engaged with that, but I want to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? This is where it becomes, this is where it's growing towards more and more. You know what I'm saying? Where people just like, fuck that structure shit. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of what the actions are that people, engage into. So another thing with this whole Malcolm X fiasco, one of my last things about the Malcolm X thing is this guy, this viral now, brother Ben X.
Mm-hmm.
He randomly around the time that I watched the documentary was posting. First, there was a post of Malcolm X apologizing to Elijah Muhammad, and some people was like, "Fam, like the apology was not Malcolm X saying that due to the whole beef between them that he was wrong. When he first got suspended before the complete separation, he was apologizing to pretty much get his job back because he knew he was wrong about what he said about Kennedy and
Mm-hmm.
other
Yeah.
things that he said that the nation didn't want him to say because it was too political.
Mm-hmm.
So people were actually saying that. So then he doubled down and then posted a video of Malcolm X's daughter, I guess, saying that the nation didn't have anything to do with his assassination. And it was like, let it go. Sometimes when we pledge our loyalty to organizations, systems, gangs, politics, whatever, we get so lost that, bam, just because you pledge your allegiance to something or a person does not mean that that person or that system can't be flawed. It's just so simple. It does not. It doesn't mean your whole thing is corrupt and it didn't save you and nobody else should fuck with it. It just means when it comes to this particular situation, just take the L. When people are in the comments saying they're naming the people that did it and that's from y'all shit, just take the L. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes we just have this blind loyalty and it spins off into politics. That's like when the guy got assassinated today. People were saying, yeah, 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 he cool, Trump, all that. He deserved. I'm like, no, fam. Like sometimes you take things too far. If things are wrong, then you stand for right or wrong before you stand for what you represent. And this is how a lot of people survive the streets or survive highly political climates and everything else because they stood for right and wrong first and foremost. You'll hear people say, I am what I represent first. And then you'll have say people before that, I'm a man first.
Bro.
Be careful on how people speak and how they position themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody say I'm a man first, they're letting you know I have morals and integrity outside of what I represent or outside of what I belong to.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, slavery was backed by religious dogma. It was they backed it morally through tying it to religion. So you don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just why some people went against Christianity because they like that's how they used that religion to endorse slavery. So you're doing the same thing in a modern time, period. When something happened to a Republican and you're like, oh fuck them, they Republicans, they get what you're doing the same thing. So if you're gonna be anti wrong, then you know what I'm saying, you have to be right majority of the time and just be morally attached and stick to your morals and your codes. And this is how people coexist. This is how you have peace treaties and everything else. But the crazy thing about it is when shit starts affecting people's money, and I won't drag this out too long, everybody put money first, but people don't put morals first.
Woo.
I don't care how much beef religions got, street gangs got, whatever. When the money starts getting fucked up, people have no problem putting the guns down and putting the beef to the side.
Mhm.
So people always pick and choose, you know what I'm saying, when they for the shit or when they're not for the shit. It's the way it always works. So not getting too long winded on that. Another situation that's kind of similar, you had Nipsey getting killed, and then you had, you know what I'm saying, his homeboy Cowboy that took the stand. It's some people that felt like Cowboy snitched. Well, on the street codes, you could say he snitched. But at the end of the day, that's a grown man that lost his brother, somebody that was like a brother to him. And so this man's family doesn't deserve legal justice because of some street code shit.
They want street justice. That's why.
But street justice doesn't do anything for the family. The family not,
It
you know what
doesn't.
I'm saying? So we just got to be careful, man. Like sometimes it's okay to get into organizations, gangs, whatever, and become more loyal to your people that you actually build bonds with, and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? This is where you have to make decisions on who you are as an individual. So when you see wrong being done, you step in and you attack the wrong. Wrong becomes the op, not whoever we say is the op by design. That means somebody's always going to control your warrior spirit. The most powerful thing to anybody that has a warrior spirit is when the warrior is set free.
Woo.
Not free to bring terror and pain to everybody, but when he freely sees his opponents, his ops, that's when that warrior becomes more dangerous than anybody because you actually know who to fight. People control who you fight.
Mm.
If I say left, somebody done already picked who's already going right. If I say up, somebody done already picked who's going to say down. That's why a lot of my dispositions throughout the entire podcast, throughout years, is I kind of, you know, I say what's right and what's wrong, but my thinking, my emotional intelligence, my logic, my reasoning. Sometimes if some shit is in the middle, it's just really in the fucking middle. And you don't really just have to pick a side. But I ain't gonna get too long on it. You got it.
Oh man, I don't even know where I can piggyback off that other than like, hey, that's a lot of things that you said was genius. The
Mm,
best warrior is a warrior who eventually sets himself free. Um, he's no longer constrained to the things that kept him within his warrior state: war, bloodshed,
mm,
and you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of things that get tied into the warrior's code at the same time. You can tell who were warriors before by the way they talk, the way they try to keep peace. I
mm,
think a lot of people don't understand that. The people who still hiding their emotions and wanting to fight. I'll be honest. I don't think that's really an emotional man. Should we be like, yeah, he had a lot of fights and things like that? Cool, but you know a warrior spirit within a man by the way he's maneuvering, the way he speaks, the way he tries to engage on a basis before it gets physical. Uh, one of the things I seen from one of my, I call him an OG. You want to say that? One of my OGs before, man. I remember watching him handle a situation. I took it with me after that. He's like, listen, we can be like men and talk this out. Or we can be like men and do what we need to do. So, how do you want to handle this situation best fit? So, me watching that, I'm like, damn, he's giving an option. Versus people who feel like, hey, the only option is violence. We don't talk about that, like how some of us is programmed to violence, no matter what. Hey, you with so and so, cool. I can't get to them, so I'm gonna get to you, so you can deliver the message. And it's a mindset. But there's always power in people who still choose the uh, formal formal approach on the basis of respect before anything goes left. I talked about a time where I remember we were out at a VI, we was at a club. We was all drinking. There's a couple of my friends. It was we had some women with us, and then things started going left. One of the dudes that we didn't know grabbed one of the females wrong, so some little situation got left. And the first thing we did was like, hey, listen, we already know how we're gonna handle this. But first thing we do, secure the women, get the women safe. We gonna walk them all back to the car. We said, listen, we're gonna jump spots. Here's some money to get the next section, and we'll follow y'all. They was like, all right, cool. So about two vehicles. They were about at least four in one, about like three in the other. As soon as they drove off, we went back in. Fuck that off. We do what we're gonna do, but it's as I always say, as men move forward, you know not to make irrational decisions when you have people with you that you care about or people that can get struck. This is why you have certain men that be like, hey, listen, I see you with your family. You know why I'm here. I'm gonna let you go ahead and you know, if you're gonna be handling it the best way, dismiss your family, or let's go handle this the best way we can. So some people don't live by certain codes like that. They just live by, hey, listen, when I see you, I see you. You forget that when a child is involved and they're looking at it, you causing trauma to that child as you striking that man. Like, people don't be thinking about stuff like that. So this is why some people used to say, hey, "Listen, no women and kids involved." Then you got some people like, "Listen, I might not get a chance again. This is it." So I always say, like, you got to be able to assess the people you're around to know who's going to be instilled, as you say, emotional intelligence. Who's going to have that? I'm gonna say proper. I'm gonna say a trained man to know who's trained around you, who's untrained. That's the best way I can say it.
Mhm.
That's how you need to make your decision around the men you're going to be around later on in your life or in your life now. Is knowing who's trained and untrained. I always say the untrained man is more dangerous than the trained man because the untrained man will create more dangers down the line, while the trained man wants to prevent dangers from happening.
Mhm. My last point would be everybody got shit to lose.
Uh-huh.
As especially as a man, be fully aware of the shit you have to lose. Especially as it pertains to this conversation. Um, like sometimes ego it could be the best thing and the worst thing, but find healthier ways to assert your ego.
Yeah.
Um, apply it to economics, apply it to personal development, apply it to health and fitness, nutrition, apply it to things that actually benefit the people around you. But when you apply it to just crash dummy type of shit, disrespect. Okay, fam. Okay, cool. Like, is this the moment right now to tackle the disrespect? It sounds good when you hear it in the rap songs and I die behind my respect. It sounds very good. I mean, it sounds hype even more if you add a little tequila or Hennessy to it. You know, it feels really good to be. I die behind my respect. But what happens when you die? Family, is broken. Uh, you no longer have impact on the people that's around you physically. Your children grow up without a father. Um, we talk about Democrats and Republican like it's cute, but you forgot the whole purpose before politics is to economically align your family in abundance. All the other shit is cute, but if you're not engaging in politics to position your family, what are you doing, fam? If you're not voting to position your family, what are you doing? So we get lost. All right. So going back to that ego, right? So the ego that that should feed a man in this proper form would be the ego of longevity, living. Especially for our community, our ego is wrapped around early death. So if you meet every disrespectful situation with aggression, without thought, you always got to think about what is it that you're losing. And if you just separate yourself, because sometimes it's not about life and death. Sometimes you meet that disrespectful situation and you live. Sometimes your freedom is on the line. You know what I'm saying? But you have to look at everything at a long game. The ego of a man is the longevity at which he produces for his family and what he provides. If you're incarcerated or you dead, then your ego is now dead because you're not producing anything. You feel me? So when we start looking at wealth and how long it takes families by last name to build wealth, the years of sacrifice, the years of investing. They always say you it's damn near impossible to work your way to wealth. You have to invest your way to wealth. But
Yeah.
if you're investing your time into things that cause you to die early or be incarcerated, then that slows down the production of you getting your family to freedom, which is wealth and abundance. So you have to associate your ego with things that's actually going to build you and the people around you. Being a hothead shouldn't be celebrated in the community. It's cute, it's fun to see people pop off and do random acts of shit, random acts of violence because somebody said the wrong thing and all that shit. But we never had that same energy when the consequences roll in.
Mm.
When niggas end up in court and they end up in the casket, no one's celebrating that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? So you always have to be wary. So especially like I said, as black people, people that, you know, we study the wealth gap, we study stocks. Um, one of the people that introduced me to stocks, not that I know personally, nothing like that, but from watching content, Wall Street Trout, he was like, he noticed that going back and forth to jail didn't stop him from committing crimes and doing anything. But the one thing that sparked his brain is even after he already found out about the stock market, when everything else got seized, you know, going to court and everything, they took everything else from him. The one thing they did not take was his stock account. And that's when the light bulb hit. You know what I'm saying? So as a man, especially as a woman too, but as a man, you want freedom to fully live and set your family in a position to get, especially if you're from the hood. Your ego shouldn't be attached to representing the hood and the block so much that you die for the hood and the block or the set or whatever, but get your family out of there. And if you still want to dab your toe in there and still show your allegiance, that's cool too. People do it every day. But you have to eventually graduate to at least setting your family free. You grew up from shit, you come from shit, it don't mean your family is granted that exposure just because that's where you came from. You know, when people talked about the whole Snoop Dogg and Tupac thing, and they was like, well, okay, Snoop did some disloyal things back in the day when the beef was on. Cool. But Snoop said one thing. He said, look, fam, I had a kid. Tupac didn't. When you get older, I'm telling you, like, when you get older, I'm a Tupac fan. That's my dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when you get older, you shouldn't have the same perception as you did when you was younger. That fire shouldn't be there to where it blinds you out of seeing what makes sense. The main thing is to go home. The main thing is to set your family up. That's where the ego should reside at. Not in being a crash dummy, not at being respected. So, like I said, not to get too long winded on that, but when you actually start studying personal development and wealth and how long it takes to actually build wealth, because it's not a fast thing, you would actually value your freedom more. You would value your life more. You know what I'm saying? Everybody eats crazy and does whatever until they end up on that hospital bed. Then you pray to God. You know what I'm saying? What 50 had a bar, he was like, uh, every gangster get religious when the shots grazing,
Mm.
saying, Lord
Say,
Jesus,
Lord
help me
Jesus,
because
help me,
their
because
ass
they
bleed.
asked me.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you get older, you know, every man, his main aspirations outside of wealth and freedom, just to have people around you free and providing. Yo, every man should already be thinking what am I gonna do when I become a grandpa? You know, it's a lot of y'all that live and y'all don't even see yourself becoming a grandfather.
Mhm.
That's problematic thinking. Your ego is attached to the wrong thing. So I ain't trying to preach, but you know what I'm saying? Like you have to graduate your thinking and your mentality and what you actually want to attach to your ego. So you got it.
Man, last thing I'm gonna say, because I really don't feel like I should say anything at all after all that. That was good.
Mhm,
Is I value the youth, man. I don't
mhm,
know about y'all. I value the youth. So this is one of the reasons why I want to keep living to be able to navigate the youth. The youth is looking for direction. I keep telling people that the youth is looking for direction. They just don't know where to find it. I have a situation right now. A young lady I'm cool with. It's funny. Um, best way I can say this is like her mom has a certain way she thinks about me, right? But the daughter has always came to me when we had conversation because she's looking for direction. So instead of going to her mother, she knows she can't go to her mother for direction, but she'll come to me. But see, being put in that situation where the mother doesn't necessarily see me in a certain light because of certain things that have happened, the way I handle it, and I mean handle it the best way I can, it then puts into the effect and perspectives of, all right, well, I don't know if I can trust them, but your daughter trusts me. She doesn't go to you for the advice because you can't guide her. This is why I say like it's important as men, no matter how anybody looks at you at the same age and level as you or older. If somebody's coming to you and it's their child, their cousin, niece, and aunt, there's a reason they can't go to them. So that's why I said I value being an individual now, who I am today as the guide of the youth. Man, what up, Nick? It's funny, man. I met Nick yesterday, man. I ain't gonna speak too much on you, bro. But like I said, we're gonna touch more bases on the hip hop community as you was talking about, bro. Um, Me and him had a conversation yesterday, man. And I said, listen, bro, as long as you listen, bro, I'll help guide you to get into certain places. But after that, everything's on you. How you move out throughout there, how you pitch yourself, how you exercise, how you pretty much do anything on action basis is 100% on you. Your words can only do so much. I have always valued when I said I have always valued uh, being a man of your word, right? Small things I would say that I did live up to. I feel if I feel like it was no longer in me to do it, then I didn't do it. Right? I remember about to teach a woman how to use gun control, how to use guns, and I was just like, listen, from what I observed, like your mental state is not there. So me teaching you how to use guns, I'm looking at it on a perspective like I don't think that's going to be the best bet until I see better mental health. So even though I did promise our teacher, like, there's some things you got to step back from when you see other things coming into the picture and play. Right? There's people don't ever look at certain situations like gun control, gun safety, stuff like that. Some people have actually seen what people were capable of, depression, anxiety, or if they were more of an aggressive person. Once they taught them how to use it, these people end up using it on people or on themselves. So this is where I say you have to be able, no matter what you promise people, you still need to reevaluate what you promise and say to yourself, hey, is this something I still need to proceed forward with teaching, or is this something I need to step back on? But always be a man of your word when it comes to certain things that value your credibility and also something that can help further yourself or another individual. But like I said, but also reevaluate the things that you're promising people because you don't ever want to put yourself in a position and and you move forward with it knowing what the outcome was going to be. That's terrible.
Man, funny thing, man. Funny, funny, funny. Everything come from a real place with me, especially on this topic. Like I said, I know people that never met their parents. Their parents were, like killed before they met them. I know people that met their fathers in prison. I
Mm-hmm.
know friends, homies that never met their kids because things happen. But yeah, real conversations come from real places. And this will be my closing thing. It's not even a full long runoff, but everything we talked about in this episode, good, bad, funny, all that shit. Charleston White is the epitome of the entire conversation. He may
He
be a
should have
little
talked about the
wild,
beginning.
he may be a little, his antics are through the roof. I ain't saying I agree with everything, but that is a black man who is positioning himself to go against the streets and to go against things that are destroying the youth, whole culture, everything. If you really just listen to how he's choosing his ops, as disrespectful as it may come across, he's literally what I'm talking about throughout the episode. So, hey, so
All right,
that's
that's it, bro. I feel like we should have touched base on Charleston White. In fact, we need to make a whole subject about him one day.
yeah.
Oh man, but I'd like to get Charleston opinion on that one day. But yeah, bro, all right, that's it, man. We got a
So,
comment there for Charleston White's crazy as a motherfucker, but he gets his points across for sure. Definitely. And you can also see Charleston White, he break character a lot. He tell you straight up, he plays the character.
mhm.
Like one of the things he did was he broke character. He mentioned Nipsey Hussle, said like they don't have the credibility and the influence like Nipsey did. Like no, nobody's touching that dude. And then he said, "Oh man, look at you! You actually complimented Nipsey." All of a sudden, like bro, you was against him. Then he really realized. He said, "Man, I take that back, man. Fuck him." I was like, bro, you broke character, dog. Like it's okay, bro. You know
but
the impact that man has. But like I said,
yeah,
yes, he's
but
playing a role no matter how much he breaks it. And people still haven't caught on to it. So that's why when people are like, y'all, he's rude and disrespectful, I look at it like he knows what he's doing. I'm sorry.
mm, and
I
he
remember
outlined
when
it. Yeah.
I remember when he dressed in the Confederate flag from head to toe.
Yeah,
I was like, bro,
but he was
I
dropping
remember
bars though. That
listen,
whole
bro.
he's
He
dropping
gonna put
bars.
yeah, man. But that's it, bro. Go ahead and sign
Yeah.
us off, man. Tell the people where you get us.
But I also like when he said, I respect Ermi is the man, but I don't too much associate with the
Yeah.
gang member. He
Yeah.
literally said, he outlined it. He
He
outlined
says that all the time.
it. Yeah.
It's
So
two
yeah,
different people. Those are two different people. As I
yeah.
said, everybody listen. Your name and then your street name, but the hood name, they're two different people. A lot of people
Mhm.
like to say they're the same. Like, nah, bro, they're not. They're not. Unless you're gonna tell me you was just like this since birth. I'm like, no, bro. I know people who was given names who tried to live up to the names, knowing their personality was completely different from it. So no, like you kind of establish certain things for marketing purposes or identity purposes or personality purposes. I always say like, listen, I remember when chicks would be like, listen, that wasn't me, that was Ashley. Ashley,
Okay.
Ashley was the freaky, the da 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 da
Mhm.
da, had some alcohol. Ashley come out.
Mhm.
Now she's back to being
Right.
Ashley. You know what I'm saying? And then this is what I'm saying. Like people break it down. Like, no, this is another side of me. But certain things come out because they feel more free to express because they're choosing to walk in a different identity and not themselves. Like
Sir.
you ever say like, listen, Jonathan, Candyman, and Juice, people say they're all different people. But a lot of my codes and ethics would still be instilled in each one, but each one has their own different thrive.
Mhm. Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alrighty.
all
Appreciate
right,
you
bro.
for tapping in. If you're watching it on IG, definitely watch part one. Part one's cut short. All right. So up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and we out.